Oh, she said her name like she on famous and shit. Like we supposed to know who the hell she is already.
Hey, that's how you waving off every.
Oh, she said her name. Go ahead, baby. Oh, she said her name like she on famous and shit. Like we supposed to know who the hell she is already.
Down the road. That's when I knew I had it.
Oh, she said her name like she on famous and shit. Like we supposed to know who the hell she is already.
Hey, that's how you
Yo, let me give it to you right all night. No, we ain't never gonna stop. I never had it like this before. No, gotta keep it together. Yeah, that's right. It's a real good, a sexual fight. Give it to you all night, right?
I'ma take you some loving, sweet delicious somethings. Only you, I'm so gifted. See the blood on the wings.
Him and his guitar player were trying to get me to the after party, but I said, I'm a good girl. I ain't gonna do that. I'm sorry.
She said, I know what happens there. I'm gonna stay home.
You don't know what kind of stuff they gonna do. You know, I might have to whoop up some wind chum. They so nasty.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. Welcome back to From Her Point of View talk show brought to you by Isaidit Management. If you would like to be a guest on the show, or if you would like to be a sponsor on the show, you can email herpointofview@aol.com. Do so today so you can get on the show. Today we have a beautiful lady by the name of Thuy. She is a Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator for Houston Public Works. Well, dang, that's a mouthful. How you doing, Queen? Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Hello, Miss Lily. I hope you're doing well. Happy Tuesday.
Hello. Happy Tuesday. Beautiful day. Beautiful day in Florida. Beautiful day where you at. Shout out.
Yes. Yes. It's not hot and humid. That's all that matters.
That's what matters. So any shout outs you want to give to anybody? Let them know where they can follow you on social media.
Hello, world. Welcome to the show. I'm excited to be on here, so I appreciate that. And shout out to everybody else who's watching the show. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. So I go under the Tweety Bird, THUYTBIRD. So that's my name. So there you go.
Awesome. And today, of course, we're going to talk about our usual relationships from our point of view. So what do you think? First of all, I want to know, are you in a relationship?
I am in a relationship.
You have to say who. But how long do you think a person should be in general? How long do you think us ladies should even be in a relationship with a man before we even consider that next move?
Ooh, it all depends. So I think it depends on where you are in your life. So, I've been married twice and divorced twice. So me being 41 at this age, it all depends. I am at this pace right now, all I want is peace, right? And I just want to be able to enjoy my partner. And so I'd say I would take my time. So we've been together we've hung out. We've known each other as friends for quite a few years. I want to say for about 7 years, 5 years before we hooked up.
Oh, good. That's fun. Oh, that's sexy. There's some, you know what? Don't you think that, I'm not the only one that thinks that's sexy, right? And why do you think that that's sexy? People are like, oh, why is it taking so long? Well, first of all, there's so much you could do. There's so much you could discover. Why is it fun?
It makes it easy because with me and him, we were friends for so long that he knew who I was as a person. So when we knew each other, when we got to know each other, I was still married. So I wasn't looking at him in any way, right? So once I was no longer married, he took the opportunity. It wasn't until a couple of years later that he took the opportunity and see where it went. And we just kind of hooked up, honestly. It was just a hookup thing. And then eventually it got to the point where we're like, well, what are we doing now? It's just like, I'm getting older. And if I want to actually have a family, I got to think about where it's going. So eventually giving him that ultimatum made him go into a relationship, and it's different for us because we're both in two different cities. He's in Dallas and I'm here in Houston. So that also makes it so to where we actually have to think about where our future is going to be at, so it's a different process than if we were living in the same city. So,
right.
But I mean, I'm happy. I'm at peace. He's the one that I go to for stuff. So
yes, that's what's important. And shout out your zodiac sign. What's your zodiac sign?
So I'm a Pisces, full blown
Pisces. Got the fishy in the house. Fish, a little koi fish. Would you consider yourself a koi fish, angel fish? What kind of fish?
I don't know. As long as it's free flowing, Pisces are very, in their own mood, in their own world. We do things to our own heartbeat. We do things at our own pace. So, but we also feed off of everybody else's energy. As if you're happy, we're happy. If you're sad, we're going to feel those emotions that you're going through. So it all depends, but we try to keep it to where it's, if you give us a good vibe, hence the shirt, that's what matters.
Good vibes only, y'all. And if you piss off a Pisces, then they turn into Megalodon.
Girl, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth?
That just proves that Megalodon still exists.
What sign are you?
Oh, I am a Sagittarius, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody, shout out to the Sagittariuses. I am a November one.
Okay. So does your sign, is it specific? Do you feel like you're a full-blown true Sagittarius?
Oh, yeah. Whether I'm November or December, I am November, though, because I'm near the Scorpio that's in November. And we're just a little bit more playful, not that December's can't be, but we don't take as long to warm up to people.
Okay.
So that makes sense.
That's good. So you're a lot more grabbing them, getting them into your world.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that I do not analyze any situation or any persons, but it's just I don't take so long to make up my mind.
As you shouldn't. Because if you know what you're looking for, then why even wait? Why play that game? Right.
And when it comes to man, I like taking the time thing. First of all, to me, that's sexy. I grew up watching Japanese anime, and I always loved the scenarios of the girl and the guy taking forever in how many series later before they even have their first kiss. And I'm like, and I think there's something sexy about it. It's the process that is so sexy. Because you're building all that up, you're building all that momentum so that when you finally have just that one kiss, the kiss alone is the fireworks. The kiss alone causes things to happen.
Facts. You feel the compatibility building up. You feel the tension of the yearning and the desire for that person. Oh, yeah.
And it's cute. I mean, what do you think of the type of guy? There's different types of guys. And there's the type of guy that goes, yo, what's up, shorty? And then there's the type of guy that is quiet, reserved, and there's two different types of quiet and reserved. There's the one that take too dang long and lead you on and kind of diss you and make you feel this big. And then there's the one that's quite reserved, educated, but he throws you a bone every once in a while. And so you know, but you still want to take it slow. I prefer that one. But, you know, which one do you find in general is the most attractive?
You know, I want someone, I like the guy. So the guy that I'm with, he is very much that slow paced person. You know, he takes his time getting to know the person and being with the person, which is what I can appreciate. You know, I feel like with that, then you can enjoy the peace with each other. I'm telling you, I'm all about peace. Like that to me is hands down, you know, it's like you don't want to go into something where it's like you're constantly fighting with each other. You're constantly bickering and trying, and you still don't get to know each other. But at least the slower pace, you take the time out to actually enjoy the quiet and enjoy spending the time with each other, you know, no matter what it is that you're doing, whether it's, you know, you're going out to eat, you're roller skating, you're going to a board game convention, whatever it is, you know, it makes it so much easier to collaborate with that person on whatever it is that you want to do. So I like the slow pace one. I'm okay with that.
We have a question from the audience member, Elizabeth. She wants to know if we believe in love at first sight.
No. I would say hell no to that. And the reason why I don't believe in love at first sight, honestly, is because that's all initial puppy love, lust, you know. You're in love with that person based off of their physical appearance, because if you don't know you can be with a person for 5-10 years and you still don't know who they are. You still be finding out all kinds of stuff with them, and you're like, ooh, where did that come out of nowhere? I've known you this long, and that is now just coming out, you know. So to me, it's the physical attraction, and I don't go for the physical attraction. I really don't. You know, there has to be a chemistry right off the bat, and if I'm not feeling that, I don't even bother with it. Don't even bother.
Let's see, me. I don't really say it was would it be a love at first? I do and I don't. I think it says a zing. Oh, the word zing. Like, you know when they say, oh, they zinged. Well, it's like I've experienced having that spiritual instinct connection where the guy wasn't super hot, but like there was something deeper that was seen. And not that he was ugly or anything, but there was just something deeper that, you know, I saw in him and that he saw in me, and we zinged immediately. But so we took interest in each other, but it had nothing to do with physical attraction at all.
So usually what's that zing for you?
Well, the zing is a spiritual zing. It's just all spiritual. Okay. And something that, you know, the chemistry was shown right away because probably we were in the same atmosphere. Doing the same things, like when you're doing the same things, you're in the same workspace, or you have those same interests, and then something deep down in your gut, there's like this spiritual thing that happens where you both kind of stop and look right at each other's eyes, and you're like, why am I staring at you like this?
Past life.
You know, because listen, I'm sorry, y'all, I don't like moles. I just don't like them. I know that sounds like so, yeah, but listen, there's a reason. A lot of times moles are cancerous. Cut that thing off. But I mean, I remember an aunt of mine, she had a huge mole like right up on here, and all I could ever do was stare at it. I'm like, Titi, hi. But the mole was distracting. I mean, it's so big and it grow hair on it and everything. And my daughter says, what's that on your face? And I said, Titi, let me kiss my cheek. I just want to know what this feels like. And she was like, and she says, oh, I'll kiss you. I know my mole is probably going to tickle you. It sure did. I said, well, why don't you pluck the little hairs off or something? She's like, well, if I want to see if it gets long enough, I could braid it or something. No.
That's funny as heck. That's actually pretty funny.
It bled one time, and so she definitely got it removed. And I said, girl, your kissing days are going to enhance. It's going to be much better. It's gonna be so much better. And I said, you can kiss my cheek now even more. Come on, let's lay it on me. And so she's like, she had a great sense of humor. What I love about her is that being around, people that have that wonderful personality, that wonderful sense of humor. I have a friend that has huge big ears, but to me, and so some people they'll say, "Oh, don't say she has big ears," but to me, it's cute. It's cute. She like a mousy. It's adorable. It's beautiful. I love the big ears. Just like my dad has a big nose, I think it's adorable. I want to bite it. It's adorable. So just because somebody has some features, they're big or they got a mole, depending on who it is, I think it just, you can oversee those things. That's probably what happened with me and that guy. So have you ever been in that situation where you kind of have to overlook the visual?
No, because honestly, I'm all about energy. Honestly, I'm all about people's vibe and chemistry. If I can't have, because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a very vocal person, and I'm a very opinionated, and I'm very in your face. So if you can't take that, then we can't vibe, because most guys like women who are pretty reserved, but they like the independence and all that. But it's hard to find someone who can appreciate a woman who is not your typical tee-hee-hee type of person. So I'm all about energy. If you can handle this, then you're good in my world.
Yeah, and do you think that if it's that it's okay for us ladies to show our goofy side to guys that we like, or we gotta keep it hidden?
No. Why should you hide who you are? Because here's the thing, if you don't let them know who you are right off the bat, then when they find out, when they see it later and they're like, well, all of a sudden this is coming out. Why are you this person now? And it shouldn't be that, It's like, I honestly want someone to see me from the beginning and all the way through. So I'm going to say something a little crazy and out there for you. So my ex, what he said that when we dated, he said that for the first 6 months, I didn't fart or burp in front of him. And I was like, or curse. And I looked at him, I was like, I'm sorry, do you know who you're talking to? You can ask anyone in this world that knows me. I'm not afraid to curse at all. I'm not afraid to fart or burp in front of anyone. So for him to overlook all of that and think that I hid it for 6 or 7 months, I'm like, no, that's on you, bro. That means that, no, you weren't paying attention. So no, women shouldn't have to hide who they are at all in any ways, no matter what, if they're emotional, if they're sensitive, if they're goofy, if they have sailor mouths kind of thing. Why hide it? Men can be who they are, but women can't. We have to be a stereotype for men. We have to look sweet, and we have to look, pretty and dolled up all the time. No.
Or be in the kitchen. I remember this one male individual on social media actually told my daughter, go back to the kitchen where you belong. Because apparently, females can't play video games. We can't play video games. We can't do some of the things that the guys do. We can't play sports. Otherwise, we're, butch, which we're not. It's just that's something different. I mean, I played basketball, sports, and all kinds of things when I was little. I had my daughter do soccer and golf, and she took golf lessons.
Good for her.
Early. And that's the thing. Why can't girls do those things? The girls could do those things too.
You know why? Because we can do it better than men, and that's what they don't care for.
We just look cuter doing it.
It's because men don't want to be intimidated. They don't want to feel like they're less of a man than we are. So anything that we do, we put more effort into it than men do. Anything that we do, which is why women are so much more powerful, and men forget that. It's like, that's why men don't have kids. Because if they could handle having kids and going through menstrual cycles like we do, then they would be doing exactly what we do. So, I mean,
do you have any children? Do you have any children?
No, I do not. One of these days, if I do, I'm open to it. My age, I've come to the realization that if I do have kids, great. If I don't, then I'm okay with it because of my age. So either or. But I would love to have them, because I would love to see what my offspring is like.
Yeah, I think they would be cute and beautiful as you, and a nice little cute girl. It doesn't matter if it's twins, a boy and a girl. I would like, listen, put my name in one of the middle names somewhere. Them cute little babies. Do you feel that men depending on, especially in the United States, is there an Asian fetish that you find is going on in the
Ooh.
States?
Yes, that I can say that I get approached by other cultures that have this fetish with me being Asian, and then you add on top of it, they think that so I actually get quite a bit that people think I'm mixed with the Black culture. They say, oh, you sound like you have a little soul to you, and I'm like, sorry, full Vietnamese, but it's a lot of that attracts them to me. I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. And I'm not your typical Asian chick either. So that throws them off too. If you're looking for that little tiny, petite, little tee-hee-hee chick, I'm not your girl.
Yeah, the stereotypes, don't you think they kind of need to go?
Yes, 100%. Because there's not a lot of girls that are like that, especially. So here's the thing. Asian women, that stereotype is back in the Asian countries, right? Back home. Not here. Asian Americans are not like that. We are so much more Americanized in the sense that we're very outspoken. We have our own opinions. We grew up to be independent, and people don't think of us in that way, which makes it hard for us here as Americans to be able to differentiate us between being in the Asian culture and being in the American culture because of the two different stereotypes there are for us. But hopefully our kids and the next generation won't have those issues where they have to, it's like, well, I don't know. People are telling me to go back to my country, but this is my home. Where do you go with that? So
right. And that's terrible to say that in this country when it is a melting pot.
Yes.
When and we wouldn't have been a melting pot the way we are if it wasn't for people traveling the way that they have over the centuries. So, and sharing the beautiful, different, diverse cultures, all of it, and chocolate.
We are very fortunate to live in a country to where we are able to be a melting pot and be able to learn about the other cultures. Where in other countries, you won't have that same opportunities.
Right.
So I do love that, and people here do want to get to know about other countries, which is great, and I appreciate that, and I love that. That we're fortunate in that era.
Yes. And we have another question. Elizabeth wants to know, do you appreciate a man who is sensitive and can show emotion instead of being tough all the time?
Yes and no. I don't mind. I love a man to be expressive and be able to say what he would like and be, but I'm not a crier, and I grew up in a family where we don't show emotions. So when people cry, I get very awkward. So you can be sensitive and show emotion, but you got to give me a heads up if you're going to get overly sensitive. So then that way I can be prepared. Otherwise, you will see me kind of like be nervous about it, and I don't want to be disrespectful to when you're trying to express that. So I can appreciate it. Yes. Just got to give me a heads up where it's going. And I say the same thing to my girlfriends. You got to let me know if we're about to go into a tearjerker moment.
I could be the same way. Sometimes I need a heads up. Like, okay, is this a day I have to be a listener, or is this a day where I can throw in my advice and listen and throw in my advice? You got to tell me, because if I start getting to talking and you say, Lily, I just need you to listen.
Yep.
You're giving me answers, but I didn't know it was like that. I didn't know you just needed my ears. You need to warn me so I can just put this on mute.
Yep, 100%. I remember my girlfriend, one of the girls that was working with me. So she had just started. It was literally her first day that she just started. And she had just broken up with her boyfriend a couple of days before. So it was early in the morning. She comes in, and all of a sudden we shared an office, and all I hear is her crying in the background. And I'm like, oh, snap. Not knowing how. I was like, hey, are you okay? Are you good? And she comes around, she just went in on me about telling me about how she just broke with her guy. And I was like, oh girl, you got to give me a heads up for that. That's too early. And I told her, I was like, you need to this kind of thing, you need to tell me. But, there's another coworker she loves this stuff. She loves to be your shoulder. So, you can cry to her, but I can't. It's awkward. When you don't grow up in an emotional world or in an emotional family, it is kind of difficult to take that as serious. So that's why with men, I want them to be tough, but I also want them to show some sort of emotions, just not too much, if that makes sense, which is kind of weird. You want all of it, You know,
Yeah,
but
balance.
where's the balance in that? You know, you don't want men to feel like, well, I can't be myself around you, you know? And so you don't want that limitation. So I don't know. It just, like I said, give us a heads up and we'll be there for you all day. All day.
And I'm loving your cup collection, and I see you have a panda cup in the back, and I'm all for it. And you know, a lot of people are probably gonna say, "Well, she fits the stereotype." You know, since we're trying to kill this, but she fits the stereotype of having a lot of cups. For Asians, don't they have a lot of cups? Listen,
Oh, that's funny.
Right? We love our tea.
That's so funny. You know, so the background to the coffee cups is that so all my cups I get, so any city or country that I travel to, I used to get those shot glasses. But I realized that with shot glasses, they're just and then you don't use them as much. But I love drinking coffee. So I figured that if I'm gonna have people over and all of that, this is a prime example. Then they could use, these are actually more feasible to use and you know than shot glasses are. And then that way I can display them.
Right, girl, I'm right there with you. Coffee, yeah. Liz, I know you love your coffee too. She says it's sexy to me if a man shows emotion, loves you, or doesn't want to lose you. I think where she's coming from is like a woman in her case wanting a man to let her know that she means not just with words, that she means so much to him, but with actions, you know, to, you know, I think that there's some guys that it's possible in a lot of relationships at first, a lot of people, they'll notice that the man will be affectionate for a while. And then when they get married, the affection sort of dies down. You know how sort of like in time, and this is not all relationships, this is just, you know, in general, some relationships sort of dwindle down. And then, you know, but I know that there's a great many, there's a lot of women who they're single and they just want, and they're getting older. And yes, they want to find a man who can give them that balance, like what you was talking about, with being sensitive, showing his, like, in other words, not being a crybaby, but looking into your eyes and romancing you and telling you that you mean so much to him, touching your face and you know, even the smallest touch just drives him crazy. You could stroke his arm and he's like, you know.
Okay. Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I love affection. You know, I think I'm with you. That's a tough one because reassurance, right? Confirmation is what women want from their men, right? All day.
Every day.
All day.
Every day.
Every day. Whether it's the physical portion that you're doing it or the verbal, you know, I would like the verbal part of it too, but I want your actions and to match what you're saying. You know, right. If your physical stuff isn't matching any of that, then that kind of throws me off because you can say what you want with me all you want, but if you don't physically show me that also, you know, it's like, that can be sexy. I will say that can be sexy. Be a good balance of it all, men. Be a balance, you know.
Take notes, guys.
Exactly.
Take notes. Watch the replay. Watch the replay because you need to take notes. She's giving the facts. Thank you very much. That's all I gotta say with that.
You know, some men, so I was watching a lot of videos and I see how men are. So there's a big balance. So older generation men are very traditional in their ways of how they want to approach women. But the younger generation of dating nowadays is completely different from how it was before. You know, they're not like the knight in shining armor that we want the traditional men to be. But then yet we want the male and female roles at the same time, the equality as well. You know, what balance can you find from that? So we're kind of stuck in that realm. Like, how do you explain to them what you do?
We're so stuck in that realm, but we're going to get back to this, ladies and gentlemen. So keep tuning in after this commercial break. Stay tuned for more from your point of view with your girl, Thuy, and co-host over here, Miss Lily the Goddess. Remember, it's brought to you by Isaidit Management. If you want to be a guest or a sponsor, send us an email. Her point of view at AOL.com.
and these are my official sponsors. Shout out to business owner Dolores Green on Facebook, and please go visit her at hairbossbiz.com. You can contact her directly at hairbossbiz@gmail.com. Also, shout out to CEO of MIA Entertainment Group, film, TV, and producer, the legendary Mimi Acosta. Shout out to business owner and podcast host Sophia Latrice. She has a spa in Plainfield, Illinois, and visit her website at lenicealex.com. Shout out to CEO and radio personality Cantone. You can visit his website at streetscienceradio.com. Shout out to author and animation commercial creator Linda Gregory. You can visit her website at lilyb.com. Shout out to business owner, the elite reader and licensed phlebotomist Cherie Patterson. Call her directly at 469-340-6489. And shout out to author with both her audiobook and hard copy novel Through the Eyes of Nitsi, Denise Donnerson. Order her book today on Amazon. The celebrity interviewer, I said it, and I approve this message.
Niggas shooting with no eyesight, killing women with children. Where's your heart? Why are you human? Sirens ringing in my ear. I don't know what the hell it feels. Can't find peace when my world is flat.
Welcome back to From Her Point of View with your girl Lily the Goddess, and shout out to my co-hostess, the lovely, beautiful Deasia Marie. Prayers to her. Let's send beautiful, good vibes, just like the T-shirt, Miss Thuy. That everything is all good with my girl. We're missing her so much today. We love you. God bless. Let's get back into it with From Her Point of View, brought to you by Isaidit Management. And again, if you want to be a guest or a sponsor on this show, you send an email to her point of view at AOL.com. And yes, AOL still exists. And stop calling it a Stone Age. What's the matter with you? I'm not that old. I don't care what you say. I don't care. I hear no evil. Okay. So, but we have a beautiful lady today. If you were missing it, her name is Thuy. She's a Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator of Houston Public Works. A mouthful, like I said earlier.
It is.
And shout out to Dawn. Shout out to Elizabeth for tuning in. Shout out to everybody else. Because I know it's a long list, and everybody who's missing it, please don't forget to hit the replay. Let's get into it. Now, here's another thing. When it comes to relationships, the last thing that we talked about, which seems to be our highlight for today's show, as well as the subject from her point of view of relationships, is balance in relationships. Having a balance between expressing one's emotions and being strong. And holding some things back, because you don't have to tell all, because some things you need to like sit on and kind of, marinate on it before you kind of make up your mind what the heck you're trying to say. I'm pretty sure that guys will think that we just say everything off the top of our heads.
Facts. And they don't realize that we think a lot about the things before we say it. They think that we're just going to out that. No, because we're trying to be very creative and articulate with our words to make sure that you hear everything out loud the first time around.
Exactly. Because we don't know how much they actually are listening and how much they were, listening to respond and not listening to understand.
Yes.
And we don't know how much they're tuning out, because who knows if how many men think that women are illiterate, or we don't know anything, or we're stupid or dumb. Who knows? I mean, there's also there's a lot of trends that I've been paying attention to that I'm very curious to bring up today, because the thing is, it has a lot to do with how men view us. So it makes me wonder as a woman, is this true? And I want to ask you, it seems like men view, not all of them, but some of them might be viewing us as women who, like, when we get asked, are we a 10? Do you, like, for instance, I'm going to ask you right now, do you consider yourself a 10?
No.
And why?
No, not at all. I am not pretty, but I'm cute. My personality makes up for all of that. My personality is what makes people see me more than a 6. I would say I'm anywhere between a 6 and a 7, but my personality makes me a freaking 8 or a 9. Because I can be your girl, but I can also be the dude that you hang with. What I've realized is that I've hung out. I am more into football than any of the guys I've ever dated. I have not met anyone who loves football the way that I do. Sundays, they're only for football Sundays. That's it. If you can't join me on that, my girlfriend even knows. She didn't know how into it I was until we went out together, and she kept talking to me. I was like, girl, you got to wait till commercial. I am watching the game. You got to wait till commercial. And it's funny.
Yes.
So
yeah, I agree. I don't think, this guy literally was asking a bunch of girls in the street in this video if they thought that they were a 10, and all of them had, it looked like they were out having fun, having parties. They all had drinks in their hands. They were having a good time. And I think that they all answered that they were a 10 because they thought that they were supposed to, because I think they were assuming that the guy wanted to see how many women have self-confidence. I think that's where that was stemming from. But he wanted to find out more and see if they would change up their answer. So he says, are there any things that you would work on about yourself? So as he's asking them these questions, they're like, well, yeah, I guess I would work on this. And then the guy, reviewing this show stops it and says, I hope not all you women think this way. And I'm like, well, we don't all think this way. You have to consider who you're interviewing. A lot of these girls were much more younger, and they have drinks in their hands. You're in a very fun atmosphere. They're probably thinking that you want to know how many women have self-confidence. And so they answered a 10. But, and then they didn't want to look stupid, but they ended up looking stupid because they were trying hard to retract their statement. Because I know for a fact, I know I'm not a 10 because there's always room for improvement. Like, he wanted them to prove that there's always room for improvement. I'm like,
So then why would women give them the answer that I'm a 10? Because if you know that there's room for improvement, then you're just basically giving men the answer of what they want to hear so you can be attractive to them. See, that's
Right.
a problem. Women don't need to put themselves in that situation to say, to make a man feel, be attracted to them for any other reason. You should be confident in whatever reason it is. If you're confident enough, I'm confident to say that I'm cute as hell. I know I'm not a 10. I have a lot of things I need to work on, but I'm not going to lie about it. And the thing is that if you can't see that, and then if you don't want to get to know me more to see why I
Right.
can see myself as an 8 or a 9, then that's on you, bro. That
Or
ain't on
even
me.
a 10. Maybe there's a day that you feel like a 10. You feel wonderful. Maybe that 10 doesn't necessarily mean that you make you shallow. Maybe it's just that's how you feel in that day. And then the next day you might feel like a 6. And then the next day you might feel like a 7. Because maybe you feel like you're like, man, I'm on my bummy swag. I don't feel so good right now. But here's another thing about the bummy swag thing. I get hit on more when I'm in my rags.
Because you're not trying to prove anything. And that's what, honestly, that's what guys
I'm still
love.
not, but
But guys love women in their natural state and in their genuine state. When women try to be dolled up and look a certain way, that men know that it's temporary. But men want to see how you are on a daily, you know what I mean? And if you are without makeup, if you're in your sweats all the time, your hair's in a bun, and that's how you are on the daily, that's who they want to get to know. Because anyone can get dolled up and get dressed up and be a 10 at any given time, right?
Mhm.
But you need to show that I'm between a 6, 7, and an 8, but I can get to that point if you want to get to know me to that point. You know what I mean?
Right. And then there's a lot of guys that don't like makeup at all. They don't like women with makeup. But then just don't talk to the female that wears makeup then.
But yet those are the ones that you see them with all the time.
Yeah. It is very there's a contradiction on that part because it depends on who the guy is. The guys can be contradicting too. They see us that way only. They make it seem like it's only a female thing that we're contradicting. And I'm like, well, it's only because it depends on who you're talking to.
Yes.
You can't put us all in one little category.
Exactly. So do you feel like with the whole makeup thing, do you feel like women wear makeup and get all dolled up for themselves, for women, other women, or for men? Like, how do you see that? Do it's like
depends on the woman. Because for me, I used to be against makeup, period. But I grew up also being a model when I was little. I was started at a very, very young age as a baby. And then and also being in theater. So makeup was something I had to deal with. But I hated it. Because I have really bad allergies anyway. I'm allergic to everything. But as I progressed, and I used to think I looked ugly with makeup when I was, I said I don't need it. And then I was literally the girl that was against makeup. That was me.
Okay.
But then as time progressed, it was like, I like the feeling of makeup, like the lipstick on the lips. And I was like, I want to be able to enjoy this, but I don't know what I'm doing this for. And then my mother and a few people, they said, well, just do it because you want to do it. You just do it for yourself. So I said, you know what, as an artist, because again, being an artist, it all depends on who you are. I'm an artist. I love to draw. I love to paint. And I said, well, my face is a canvas to me. In my eyes, my face is a canvas. People get tattoos on their face. I don't see. And how is it that people with tattoos on their bodies, on their face, get less grief than the person wearing the makeup?
Because you know what? I think because makeup tells a certain story individually for that person, right?
A stereotyped story.
You know what I mean? But that's like a personal choice. I feel like makeup is also a personal choice, but at the same time, just like you said, depending on who they are, certain women will wear makeup to attract men on purpose because they don't feel confident enough to attract men without makeup. I'm like, well, you're going to eventually have to be without makeup if you're with that man, unless you plan on wearing permanent makeup for the rest of your life around them, So makeup is just an enhancement of who you are. It doesn't define you, That's why I'm like, I grew up not wearing makeup. My parents never allowed us to wear makeup when I was young. So now that I am able to, I don't, because I feel like, you know what? I live in Houston. It's hot and humid every day.
It's high. It smells. It melts right off the face, and you're like, what in the world?
Why even bother?
Yeah, and you're right. Some women do put on makeup to impress other women, strangely and oddly. It literally depends on
why.
because they feel insecure about themselves. It's also insecurity, but it literally depends on who the person is, what career that they have, what's their career path. I'm not the Jessica or Ashley girl next door. I do a bunch of things. I'm an entertainer. That's just, entertainers are gonna paint their face whether they like it or not. It's gonna happen. So, no matter how I look at it, cut the cake, I'm gonna find myself doing it one way or the other. We also have some comments over here from Miss Lizzie. She says, I'm a 6-pack and can get a 6 I'm a 3-pack and get to a 6-pack when necessary. See, what it is that Liz, are you 3 foot? I forgot. I forget how tall you are, my love. She's a small person, and she's got a wonderful book bag. That's what I call her butt, is a book bag. It's a wonderful. I call it God. I said, girl, you gifted. I love it. I call what she has God. Me, I call myself Moses in that respect. That's what I call my kadunk. But she says, I never understood why men wouldn't do much to impress women. And I tried it for my ex, but he didn't appreciate it. So now I do it for me, trying to, she's 3'7". Thank you, Liz.
Oh,
she's
okay.
3'7". Okay. She's little. Oh, I love her so much. Oh my God. I can't stand it. She used to try to impress him to get his attention. He stopped touching her. And she's, one of those women that have experienced being married to a man, and then all of a sudden she's not wanted. She's not appreciated. And that's sad. It seems like that's the change. People change after marriage. Not all the time, but there's cases like that. And it seems to be a certain number, which is very interesting. That's why I agree with you. Date people for a long time. Date them for years.
Girl, some people are very lucky that they know that they want to be with that person after a couple of months. Kudos to you. But the majority of the world don't have that same experience. Most of us, like I said, you can be with the same person for 5-10 years and still find out new things about them. But the one thing is that if the core of who you are, if your partner doesn't appreciate you at all and doesn't allow you to be yourself, giving you limitations. I don't want you looking a certain way. I don't want you dressing a certain way. I don't want you talking a certain way. You need to behave a certain way. It's like, if you have those limitations on me, you don't need to be with me. And that's my thing. Right. I shouldn't have to go out of my way to grab your attention. If your attention is not with me from the beginning all the way through our relationship, then you don't need to be with me. That's when I realized, and I know that that's more from an individual. It's like, I'm a lot stronger in that process, whereas most women are not like that. Most women struggle to figure out how to keep their partner and how to keep them more, like love them. What can I do to keep them in my world? You shouldn't have to try that hard. Honestly, you as a woman or as a man, no one needs to try that hard to keep the other person. It should be a good balance. If you love that person for who they are and what they do for you, that's what matters. But if you're looking for more than that, you're too immature to be in a real relationship.
Yeah, he should be, enjoying showers with you and massaging your feet,
The little things is what matters, and people think about the bigger things, and you shouldn't, because those little details eventually adds up to it. It's hard.
No pun intended on the little, Liz. Love you.
No pun intended. No.
I know she's got a great she's got great humor. She's got great humor. This one, I love her. She says sometimes their family. Oh, this is true. Sometimes their family interferes and comes to find out what isn't. Comes to find out they want. Okay, hold on, Liz.
What they want
I
is.
think I'm butchering your statement here. Sometimes the family interferes and wants to be all up in the details of the marriage or the relationship, or and it's not really about the two that originally got married. She says, so I'm building me up and have to be more confident because I'm so different. Yeah, she said, and she caught the little things comment. But I think that what she's hinting at is that sometimes a family can encourage a marriage because the two might be the same. And at first it sounds like a good idea to the two. And you think that there's love there, but then after the wedding, he tells her, I don't want you anymore. You're not really who I wanted to marry. I wanted to marry a tall woman.
Ooh, that's a tough one, because then how do you deal with the intimacy? Because then if you're not attracted to me, then how do we have that affection to be intimate with each other then? Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh. And I know you got one daughter out of that, Liz. I love you. I know you got one daughter out of that.
Ooh, that's a tough. Family is really hard when it comes to relationships because, they meddle when they're not supposed to, and that they are looking out for you. But at the same time, it's like, you're not in this relationship. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors, and only you and the universe who's watching over you knows what that relationship is all about. So my second marriage, my family, especially my parents, loved, even till this day, absolutely loves my second husband. Till this day, he's still the nicest person I've ever met in my entire life. Only problem with that is that he never listened. He had issues. He let family take over. Here's an example. I love flowers. I would love for my family, it's like, I don't expect flowers all the time, but just give me little things because you're thinking about me. Your actions that you thought about me. I want to give you this because I thought about you. That's what matters to me. So when he brought me home flowers for the first time, my parents straight out told him, don't be wasting your money on that. So why do you need to spend it on flowers? So he listened to that. And he was like, okay, and never got me flowers again. I was like, hold up. Who are you dating? Are you dating my parents or are you dating
Exactly.
me?
Exactly. Yeah. And do you think that men actually know what type of woman they want, or they just know what type of woman they are attracted to only? Or how about this? What they need? The type of woman they need.
They want someone like their mama. They want someone to take care of them, but also be very nurturing and affectionate. They want the whole package, but they can't deal. Here's the thing. Nowadays, women, the whole package includes being independent and they can't handle that because they don't realize, the whole mentality of men wanting to be needed and wanting to be dependent upon. It's still there, but they don't realize that women now are able to have a career. And so that independence is real strong. And so
they call it the modern woman.
Yes. And we want men to add to our lives, not to be, I don't need you to give me money because I'm making my own money, but I do want to know that you do want to take care of me. That ideology of you saying that I still want to provide for you. I still want to be your man. I still want to be the king of the house. Great. Still have that. So both of our incomes should be more of a bonus, not that I'm more than you, or you're more than me, or you're the breadwinner, I'm the breadwinner. It shouldn't be that. It should be a good balance that we're each other's bonus. We bring each other up, that kind of thing, and it's hard for a lot of traditional men to take that because it takes away, they feel like it's taken away from their masculinity, but it's not, boo. If anything, I'm adding to your masculinity. I'm helping you be more powerful in that sense, but you're not thinking about that.
And that's what I want you all to remember what Miss Thuy said. I want you gentlemen watching, take notes now. Because this episode was definitely deep and fun. Thuy, thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the show today. From her point of view, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Isaidit Management. If you want to be a guest or host on the show, you email herpointofview@AOL.com. Shout out to my co-hostess, Deasia Marie. We love you. Blessings to you. And I love your necklace. Shout out to let them know what it is.
Goddess of Mercy, people in the Buddhist religion.
That's right. Okay. And then thank you for the audience. Thank you, Lizzie. And we also look forward to seeing everybody in our next show.
Very cool. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Miss Lily. You have been amazing.
Absolutely. You too. And you can find me on all social media platforms. And where can they find you, Miss Thuy?
On all social media platforms as well, under Tweety Bird. There you go.
Wow. Yes.
Thanks, John.
Blessings to you all. Many blessings.
Bye, ladies. Enjoy your Tuesday.
You too. Yo, let me give it to you right all night. No, we ain't never gonna stop. I never had it like this before. No, gotta keep it together. Yeah, that's right. It's a real good, a sexual fight. Give it to you all night, right?
I'ma take you somewhere, sweet delicious taste. Only you, I'm so gifted. See the flirt on the waist.
And I swear, him and his guitar player were trying to get me to the after party, but I said, I'm a good girl. I ain't gonna do that. I'm sorry.
She said, I know what's happening there. I'm gonna stay home.
You don't know what kind of stuff they gonna do. You know, I might have to whoop up some wind chum. They so nasty.